Captain Marvel. Trolls planning to review bomb movie upon release. I certainly don't consider myself a troll. And as far as review bombing is concerned, although I do understand the concept of it, as a man of integrity, I couldn't possibly review a movie that I have zero intention of seeing in the theaters. How's it going, everybody? This is Phil. Man, this Captain Marvel stuff is it's really taken on a life of its own. I haven't done anything on it since the first trailer was released, and then I kind of went on hiatus, but all of the channels that I follow, they are on fire about this topic, and I've been reading articles about it and watching videos about it, and it really is crazy what's been going on. The whole thing with Rotten Tomatoes, Brie Larson can't keep her mouth shut, and then she backpedals, and it's just wild. And we'll see what happens in a few days. So this article is over on CBR.com, and the author is L.D. Nolan. And it's a Captain Marvel. Trolls plan to review bomb movie upon release. And that was the whole controversy with they already said that they were review bombing, and that was essentially, do you want to see, like to see, and they took that down over on Rotten Tomatoes. So they kind of jumped the gun. People who were trying to discredit anybody who had an issue with wanting to see this movie to begin with, and now it's changed to, well, they're going to bomb the movie when it comes out, and they finally do get to review it. And I'm sure that there are going to be people who, I don't want to say legitimately, but who have an axe to grind with this movie for whatever reason, and they're going to troll it. It's the welcome to the internet. It's going to happen. You're probably going to get people who are just going to slam this movie for the fact that they want to slam it and they don't want to like it, and that's just something it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Let's read on through this article and see what they really have to say about the situation. It says internet trolls seem to be planning a review bombing campaign against Captain Marvel for when the movie releases. So there's a link here. Let's see. Captain Marvel pops up video scores of pure 90s nostalgia. Captain Marvel trolls planning a review bomb movie upon release. All right, let's go back. Let's finish the article here. The article proper. A Twitter user, to whom we're not linking, posted an image of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, calling for those who disagree with the movie's identity politics to review bomb it upon release. I think part of the problem that people really have with this is that there seems to be an identity politics undercurrent to the whole entire thing, and that's never been the case in Marvel's movies up until this point. They've had a decade of just turning out superhero movies, quality action superhero movies, and they've all been good, and they've all kind of gone into different directions. You look at a movie like The Winter Soldier, and you compare that to something like Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're on opposite sides of the spectrum, but they work for what they do. One is a government espionage conspiracy theory thriller. The other one is a sci-fi romp, with completely different tones. And Marvel has managed to kind of walk that line where all of these movies somehow tie in together, and they appeal to different groups, but there's a universal appeal somehow to all of these films, and they haven't managed through all the movies that they've released to polarize people in a certain way, to where it's at the detriment of the film performing well at the box office. And with this movie, it seems to be we've kind of eked into that area of getting woke and identity politics and the SJW type of rhetoric, where people who have this type of agenda hitch their wagon to, and then they start beating that drum, and it turns away a lot of the longtime fans, and they get to a point where they sit it out. They take a knee. We saw this with Ghostbusters 2016. We saw it in the aftermath of The Last Jedi with Solo, and it looks like we're on the verge of seeing it here. Although the hashtag on the poster is getting shared, the post has fewer likes and retweets than comments, which mostly slam the user. Still, this new campaign likely won't come as a surprise to those who have been keeping up with the drama surrounding Captain Marvel. The Want to See section for Captain Marvel on Rotten Tomatoes hit a Marvel Cinematic Universe low following comments made by Brie Larson calling for a more inclusive press days. She later clarified those remarks, saying, what I'm looking for is to bring more seats up to the table, backpedaling. No one is getting their chair taken away. Rotten Tomatoes soon removed the Want to See score from its site, though the review aggregator claimed the move was not in relation to attacks against Captain Marvel. Bullshit. I mean, it is. It's thick and it stinks. How exactly that backlash will translate to the movie's Rotten Tomatoes audience score on release remains to be seen. Captain Marvel is currently tracking for an immensely strong box office opening, approximately $150 million. I think this is a bunch of nonsense. I think the movie will be lucky to see anything starting with 100 and up. I think it's going to come in below. It might be in the 90s, but I think, at least domestically, you're not going to see $150 million. The movie is also expected to have one of the strongest for a movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in China. Well, we'll see what happens there. China doesn't seem to be a country that gets too wrapped up with the nonsense that we do here in the States as far as all of these identity politics are concerned. They just want to see a movie and have fun with it. And Marvel movies have done very well over in China. So they could see a huge box office take for the opening in China. The whole thing with Solo was Star Wars movies don't traditionally do well in the Chinese market. They never have. They've done decent numbers, but nothing to really write home about. And Star Wars, since The Force Awakens released, has trended down. So by the time Solo came out, there was next to no interest in that. But there wasn't a lot of interest here in the States. I mean, the movie lost money, and it did $392 million box office global. Anyway, as far as Captain Marvel having an opening in China, a strong opening, that is a possibility, because like I said, they don't seem to get wrapped up in the stuff that we get wrapped up here. So they'll just go to see it because it's a Marvel movie, and it does lead into Endgame, which is a big deal. They've positioned this movie to be a part of the overall story going into Endgame. So strategically, that was smart on Marvel's part. Now, I've heard there's a possibility that they've, depended upon how this movie is received, multiple endings have been shot. As far as Endgame is concerned, EVS, he released a video saying that one would have Captain Marvel getting the victory over Thanos, the other one would have Captain America and Black Widow getting the ultimate knockout punch on Thanos. So there could be multiple endings as far as that's concerned, and that would be a smart move on Marvel's part to handle this situation that way, because you do never know how these characters are going to be received, and for them to kind of build in the ability to call an audible would just make smart business sense. So we'll see how that all plays out. As far as the review bombing is concerned, again, this is going to be something that comes up. It's going to happen. Personally, for me, even if I saw the movie, I mean, I might be inclined to leave a negative review, but that means that I saw it. I wouldn't not go to the theaters. I don't intend on going to the theaters, and there's no way that I would show up to a website and just give it a bad review based off of the fact that I didn't like the idea of it. I need to see it. Even with Solo, I didn't go to see it, and I had no intention. I never went to Rotten Tomatoes and left a bad review. I think that's just be an adult. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, it's like, don't engage in that kind of nonsense. It's petty. And it doesn't do anybody any favors. I think that the group of people that want to make a point should let the movie fail on its own merits and not go ahead and try to leave something as far as a review is concerned, to knock it down a peg, just because then they have an agenda. You're fighting an agenda with an agenda at that point, and both sides come out looking pretty petty, and nobody wins. So if the movie is a bomb, and you feel that it's a bomb, then give it a bad review. If you don't see the movie, it just seems disingenuous to go ahead and write a bad review just to be a troll. That I do agree with. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I mean, this whole thing is it's crazy. The whole Captain Marvel thing is crazy. Look, episode 9 is right around the corner. So once we get away from this, we're going to pivot. And, it will be Endgame, but then from there, for the rest of the year, you're looking at Star Wars, and we'll see how that all takes place. It's another thing to follow. And this is all happening under the umbrella of the Disney company. So, for a company that owns, 40% of the market now as far as producing movies are concerned, they're managing to have these stumbles along the way with some of their films. And I don't know what it is about them that they can't get it right sometimes, because most of the times they really do. But then they find themselves getting into these PR nightmares, and it's a black eye. These things are black eyes. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to see this? I am not. Are you going to review bomb this? I have no intention of seeing it, nor do I have any intention of review bombing it. As far as seeing it is concerned, I won't see it in the theaters. I might find my way to seeing it somehow, quotation mark, in a different method, just so I can be up to speed on everything going into Endgame. But other than that, I'm not going to give any money to this movie, just based off of all of the nonsense and, Brie Larson really rubbing me the wrong way. I had every intention of seeing this movie in the theaters, but at this point, much like Solo, I'm sitting it out. I'm done with it. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching as always. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you in another video sometime soon. Until then, be happy, be safe, be healthy. Have a great day. Bye-bye.